Have you ever reached a point in your life where everything on the outside seems just fine, but on the inside something feels missing? Maybe you've been wondering why you feel so disconnected from yourself, why it's becoming harder to know what you want, or why every decision suddenly feels heavier than it used to. And if that's where you are, I want you to know that you're not alone. As both a therapist and someone who has had her seasons of untethered feelings, I've learned that feeling lost isn't a signal that something is wrong with you. More often, it's what happens when the ways that you've learned to survive no longer feel like enough. And a quieter, more authentic part of yourself is asking for your attention. Today, I want to explore why feeling lost can actually be a reconnecting with yourself and what your mind and body might be trying to tell you underneath the uncertainty. Hi there. If we've never met, my name is Raquel Perez, and I am a licensed therapist here in the state of Colorado and the creator of Everyday Therapy. Here, we explore healing through the lens of nervous system regulation, relationships, and developing self-understanding with yourself, making therapy concepts practical, compassionate, and something that you can carry with you through everyday life. If you're joining me here today for this series of reconnecting with yourself, I'm so glad you've made it here. When people tell me that they feel lost, they often assume that they've done something wrong. They think they've made the wrong decisions, chosen the wrong career, stayed too long, left too soon. They start searching for answers, like if there's this map that they've somehow misplaced. But what if feeling lost isn't the problem? What if it's simply realizing that the old map you had no longer fits the person that you're becoming? Many of us spent years learning how to meet expectations, avoid conflict, earn love, or keep ourselves emotionally safe. Those strategies often work for a very long time until one day they don't. And that's when life can suddenly feel confusing. One thing I see often in therapy is that our nervous systems prefer familiarity instead of authenticity, even when familiar isn't making us happy, because familiar feels predictable. Your nervous system doesn't necessarily ask, will this help me thrive? It asks, does this feel known? Sometimes feeling lost isn't because you don't know yourself. It's because you're beginning to step out of patterns that once made you feel safe, and your body hasn't caught up with the changes that your heart is making. That space between who you've been and who you're becoming can feel incredibly uncertain. And sometimes people start telling themselves, I don't know what I want. But after we spend some time together, they often realize something very different. They've spent so much time listening to everyone else, their family, their partner, their responsibilities, their fears, that they haven't had much opportunity to hear themselves. When your own voice has spent such a long time being very quiet, it doesn't suddenly return speaking very loudly. It usually returns as very subtle feelings, small moments of curiosity, a sense of relief, a tiny pull towards something that feels meaningful. Those moments can be very easy to miss because they don't come with certainty. They arrive with gentleness. One of the biggest shifts that I hope people experience is moving away from asking, how do I stop feeling lost, toward asking, what is this feeling trying to make space for? Sometimes the life that you've built no longer reflects the person that you're becoming. Sometimes your nervous system becomes calm enough that it can start to notice needs that were always there. Feeling lost isn't always a sign that you should start rushing for another answer. Sometimes it's an invitation to slow down long enough to discover a different relationship with yourself. Our culture puts so much pressure on certainty, to know exactly what you want, exactly where you're going, exactly who you're becoming. But healing rarely unfolds that way. It often looks like taking one honest, step, and then another. Learning to trust your body just a little bit more. Giving yourself permission to not have every answer, because certainty isn't what creates connection. Presence does. The more safely you can stay present with yourself, even in uncertainty, the easier it becomes to recognize what genuinely feels like you. If you're feeling lost right now, I hope you leave this video with this reminder. You don't have to rush to find yourself. Sometimes the path back begins with the willingness to simply stay with yourself, even when the destination isn't clear. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a small part of your healing journey. And thank you for giving yourself this time and space today. That choice, it matters more than you realize. And if you'd like to continue exploring this work, I've linked several free resources down in the description below, including the guided meditation that pairs with this video, the Reconnecting with Yourself workbook that goes with this series, and my Creating Safety for Insight workbook, which goes even deeper into understanding how emotional safety supports lasting change. And in our next video, we're going to explore something that makes this journey of reconnecting to ourselves even a little bit harder. Why self-trust feels so difficult, and how we begin rebuilding it one small moment at a time. Well, my friend, that is all I have for this video. Until next time, bye for now.